Good morning, Milan. The coding is the celebration. Absolutely. How's it going? How are things? Um, I have an experiment below, right? I'm going to try and see if that does aid in more reactions on the YouTube side. Um, just an experiment, just playing with these ideas, trying to make small change, to see if it to see how it plays out. So as always, I play with the titles, I play with the alerts. Um, that's just all to have a bit of fun with this. So yes, it's Friday. We are finally here. We get to end our week. It's been a long month. I mean, a week. Um, for a 4 day week, this has not felt good. Um, I'm excited for the weekend. I'm excited for um, updating Liquid Sky this weekend. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push the latest version out, get those changes out. I was very, very disappointed yesterday in the onboarding libraries available to us. Intro.js just is considering it's a product, um, to have no support. Yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, Reach, hello, how are you doing? Happy Friday. So yeah. So um, that was not as I intended it to be. Uh, that was I was hoping that I would find a library, it would plug in, and we get some cool overlays in there, and we'll be able to walk through some of that stuff. Um, but that's why I do that live rather than trying to prep. It's why I do a lot of things on stream. I try to do them without any research, without any preparation, so that you see the process, and successes, and in other cases, major failures. Reverting and replacing libraries. I do consider that a major failure, by the way, in terms of progress. But for what the time was, that was a sink of 2 hours that I was uh, not pleased to have done. But we turn it around. We turn back to something that has been being productive of late, that has gone slightly more to plan, and we refocus back on Developers.stream for a Friday. Um, yeah. So let's uh let's start this up. So last week we let's actually start up and then see. Oh yeah, I remember I was using Visual Studio because it doesn't open the Chrome window. Never mind. Um start this and move on from there. I still don't know why Rider opens Chrome. I don't know what is triggering that. Nothing is set to open it, but Rider does. Visual Studio does not do this. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what triggers this to open, but it can't be. You can't use it because it's a private browser version. I think. Oh no, that's actually not a private browser anymore. Oh, Interesting. That's not what it was. Interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, so we did get, you know, the search semi-working. Obviously, that's not that's doing the debounce, but it's doing the enter. Now, if memory serves, TV friends, github.com, TBD friends, Developers.stream, forks, web, components, layout, no, pages, home. So you did it on input here. Okay, so we go to web. Interesting how it organizes this thing. So I have after on input changed, you got on input changed. Now, so is the bind value even necessary then if we're setting that? So let me go ahead and do this. So if we remove that and remove that, and that becomes on input changed, and that becomes change event args. Args. And then we don't need that. It's not gonna like this, so var search input. I'm just doing that so I can rename it. Args dot value dot toString. Right. Let's rename that. And then if string dot is null or empty import. Oh no. We always want to do that. We always want to take it even if it's empty because that will return our filter results. Okay. So apply. That's going to now tell me, no, I need to rebuild. Yeah, so change the variable. I really don't need to rebuild the entire thing, but I do that. Do, 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 do. There we go. So let's just, so bind input text requires a value expression parameter. Normally this is provided automatically when using bind value. So you need the bind value. So I know I could have taken, what you did one line. I'm just trying to learn through failure what I need, why I need it, how I need it. So like, Returns on input changed. That returns it as a task, though, doesn't do that. Okay. So now that's failing because requires a value for the value expression. Normally this is provided automatically. So value equals what's the point in buying value if you then have on input? It has to have, I get that it has to have a value to bind to. So let's put that back. No expectations needs a value to, yeah. But it's, yeah. Right. Now let's restart. Close that. Close that. Let's open this. Stop that. Start that again. Hi Jay, thank you. Hello, how you doing? So again, I'm just through failing. I want to see it's not going to work properly. Through failing, I just want to get to an understanding of what it's actually asking me for. Regular value, something just shows this. Show this value in the input field. Bind value, show this value in the input field. Yeah, yeah. But I get that. So anyway, yeah. This the temperamental nature of yeah. Like, to me, this is why I do enjoy like Angular's tooling. I can change the code, I can change the layout, and it restarts, it rebuilds. Yeah, there's some temperamentality to it at times. It's very strict, but it does allow me to not have to restart the entire application every time I do something. And I realize it's not everything I do here, but it doesn't necessarily feel that way. Okay, so if I do C#, right? There we go. Honestly, TBD gamer. It finds me. So, hey, Loki, you're okay. Come on, lay down, bud. So yesterday, thanks God, welcome in. Canny can't remember Developers.stream, right? He keeps saying streamer.dev. You go to streamer.dev. Is it streamers.dev? Yeah, streamer.dev. Streamers. That could have been dangerous. Streamers.dev is a similar concept. He keeps saying streamers.dev. I went, no, developers.stream. Yeah. So I'm not sure. This is kind of curated to some extent, I think. I don't see, it's not very obvious what to do, but it has a There is an alternative. So yeah. Loki. Holding down, bud. It's okay. Okay. Aspiri Friday. Yeah. Do I dare click a link? Aspiri. What? Aspirifiring. Right. What? I'm not sure what to expect from that, but we'll attend nonetheless. Can you add a try button that takes you to a random page? Uh, so what would you expect? Because try catch is basically go to. Hmm. I'm feeling lucky. I mean, yeah, certainly. Um, there you go. Put that in the issues, or yeah. Again, don't forget if this project is now fully open. If you want to go and play with it, tinker with it. If you uh, want to tackle any of the issues on there, you're more than welcome to. I'm currently working on the search piece. I have put my name on that piece. What we've just done now is I'm a little confused. I've had to bind to a value, right? I've had to bind to a value, but that value is completely unnecessary because I'm going to get the args anyway. And even if I do that, it's like it just feels a little uh actually it doesn't really matter what this is. Yeah. So interesting. So basically this just starts a cancellation token. Um if one already exists, which one it'll cancel that one, then create a new one. Actually, can I do null there? No, it won't like that. That's why it wants a new one. Okay. Um, yeah, so creating new cancellation token source cancels an existing one, which stops this running, which would cancel this, and then waits 500 milliseconds. And if cancellation hasn't been requested, then we filter it. So we've got that debounce. And we're not spamming the system with that. So let's test that once more. So as always, if you have any thoughts, questions, opinions on what I'm doing, if you don't like something I'm doing, I'm more than happy to discuss it. I like to learn if there's better ways. If I don't understand something, and I feel I do, sometimes that can be kind of dangerous. So, if you have a better idea, that is worth sharing. I reserve the right to ignore, obviously, because I have my ways the same way everyone else has their ways. In the names of productivity. But taking on new stuff, learning new ways, learning new techniques is always something we should embrace. It is important to never stop learning, especially with what we're doing here, right? If you stop learning, this field moves past fast. So yes. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. So that's now working. If we type in Angular, oh, Angular, hey, maybe, how's things? Now, that debounce, that's actually the debounce trick in that. That's actually causing, that actually causes a bug. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm glad it's Friday, if I'm honest. That's actually causing a bug. That was changing this at the same time as capturing this, so it was creating an area where it actually removed a key press. So I'm going to leave it as that for right a second. That's an interesting one though, because it would be natural. Like, hold on, if we do that, what does that look like? Again, learning through failure here. I'm not learning. I'm not doing this with any sort of idea of how Blazor is working there. So yeah. How's Barely Fit treating you, maybe? Having fun with that? Could add global as an option for any user settings that is indeed just going to change when anyone changes it. So it change every page refresh. Global as an option? I'm not sure I follow that. I think if people want to tech right up on Substack. Understanding how people have released successful applications, actually delivered an application, I think is always worth having, showing people what you've done. One of the things I like about streaming is it's the warts and all thing. Like, to get a product out there to someone who hasn't released any software, is going to seem kind of mystical to some extent, and you know, because it seems that, oh well, if it's out there and it's working, then it must be perfect. And I like the sharing the warts and all on stream stuff. So I'll tech write-ups and understanding how technology's been used and what problems it's solving, and allowing people to say, oh, that's how you do it. I think is always useful. And then also what you consider MVP. You know, oh, so that's not working now. That's interesting. So that doesn't capture. So it captures. So okay. We'll put it back to my concern is someone would come along here and change that to search input here again, but that actually creates a subtle bug. So yeah, that's interesting. I blame the way this is working. So I suppose your way, one line, this actually would avoid that because the handle search input change captures it and then returns the task for that to await there. Let's try it that way. Let's try it your way. So what we do is we create another method. So actually we create that, and then we create another method for async task. search input updated. And then that captures that. Put that back to search input. And then we do that, but instead of that, we put search input. Also keep in mind that you don't need the bind for that approach, just a value. I had a bodybuilding creator ask if I'd be okay with them shouting out to their 40,000 followers yesterday too. Like when I'm ready, not now. Yeah, if you have an influx of people with specific needs and wants, all of a sudden that's going to get overwhelming. I would imagine you're not in a position to tackle a massive influx of this is a bug. No, it's not a bug. It's a feature. So return search input updated. That's that. But I want iOS to be out. And those have to have a few rounds of releases, make sure it's solid. Yeah. Absolutely. So then bind value after equals search input updated. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Did you update the site? More than welcome to drop any links you want in chat. So for anyone, gotcha. For anyone interested in what I'm doing, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions, you're more than welcome to share. The purpose of this stream is on a project called Developers.stream, which you'll have seen some of the blurb go up about. This is a site that is intended to help promote developers who stream by being able to search by tags or blurb, and also allow the developers themselves to control the blurb. So let's open up the actual page. So you log in. I'm logging in with Twitch. Right now, we only support the Twitch login, but I will come back around and get the YouTube one working. You can go to your profile. You can set up your text. This is your blurb, your about me. And you can add whatever tags you have and update that. This is the name you want to go by, the name you are known by. On YouTube, I have TBD Develops. I didn't want to make that anything game related. But on Twitch, I have TBD Gamer. So yeah, James. If you want to put James, you can put James. So yeah, that is the purpose of this site. And the idea is that it's only if you want to sign up to it. It will help increase visibility. The idea would be ultimately that, you would help promote the project by saying, hey, you can find me on here or whatever. And then more streamers, more development streamers getting there. Now, nothing stops other streamers from using the platform, but it's kind of an odd thing to go to if you're not a development streamer. So, but it will support linking your Twitch and YouTube accounts right now. And the one thing that streamers.dev, and I will say, the one thing it made me realize is GitHub. Linking to people's GitHubs isn't a bad idea either, right? But I don't think that's a first round sort of feature. That's what's the use of that? Like what is because this is really about the promotion. One thing that we do have is an API. So as you saw in here, you can go in and get an API key, and that API key you can use to request data from the site. So you'll be able to use your API key to go and get Developers.stream information, and you can search for a name. So if someone comes in your chat, you could look them up in Developers.stream and be able to, identify, are they a streamer? Do they stream things you actually do? And do whatever you want to do with your bot. So, and I do have another idea about creating kind of a portal view for this. So, but that would be way down the line. But yeah, that's Developers.stream. Yeah. So that's where I would recommend changing bind value to just value and remove bind value afterwards. Gotcha. Loki, no, bud. What's up? What's the matter, bud? We have a dog that's been a little off the last couple of days. You okay? You can't come and sit on my lap. No, it doesn't. Coding doesn't work that way. Yeah, I'm actually looking at a dog, by the way. I'm not just looking down. He's 50 pounds. He's just a puppy. He's 2 years old tomorrow. It's your birthday tomorrow, but you want to come up? This is Loki. So he's feeling a bit sensitive. Forget code. We need this. Yeah. You okay, bud? Yeah. You okay? No, we don't need kisses. No. No. So, yeah. Gonna lay down? Gonna lay down? Are you working on the website? No? Okay. Yeah, he the other day, he was walking in the kitchen and a bug got zapped right by him and he panicked and ran, and he hasn't been the same since. He's kind of shell shocked a little bit, I think. He keeps hiding behind people and trying to curl up in places. So and he's a very sensitive dog anyway. He's a big softie. So, right, bud? Yeah. He's traumatized and you're bullying him about his weight. He's an eating machine and he never seems to put on weight. He's a very skinny dog. Right, bud? Yeah. I need to sort out my room, and I would put puppy cam on. Um, I mean, you'd basically watch them curled up in a ball together, sleeping the entire stream because they've kind of got into a good habit there. But this is the first time in a long time he's actually come and crawled up on my lap. He's just standing here enjoying being stroked. Right, pal? So we'll can I do some code? Yeah, I can do some code now. Okay, we're gonna code with the dog on our lap. It's fine. Um, that's why I would recommend changing bind value to just value. So let's do that. Let's tighten that up a little bit. Um, so this becomes value, and then we don't need. So then, and remove that. Let's see what that changes. You okay, bud? In a minute, he's going to lie down right on my arm that's at the keyboard. That's going to be challenging. Look. Look, you okay? So, yeah. Not quite a lap dog, though, are you? It's funny, right? You everything's considered. Um, Normally, this is so. Forms input text requires a bind value. Interesting. Now, is that because that? Is that going to break now? I don't like that one. It's relentless. I have to be careful because I have some pet names from that might not be appropriate for my stream. Yeah. So it wants to bind. So I think the annoying thing here is that uh, you know, the best version of this that leaves the least to interpretation is the version that, and forgive me if I'm actually shouting because I'm trying to raise my voice enough to be heard far away from the microphone. There you go, bud. There you go. Good boy. There you go. It's okay. We can type like this, right? No? Oh, I'm not tiny. Why don't you get down for now? Right? Can we get down for now? No, nothing to apologize for. I really do appreciate the input and the help. Um, this is an interesting challenge. So in Angular, you have three different ways of dealing with the input, right? For the form. So it's not like it's any different. There's still challenges to getting values with model binding, forms, and there's a third one that I can never remember, which might use a combination of both things. But you still have that. What is the right way to get it? Yesterday, I was trying to make my forms consistent in Angular, and realized that I can't because of the technique I used on. I'll tell you what, you get down for now. You get down for now, and then you can come up afterwards, okay? When I don't have a microphone in front of me. How's that sound? Yeah. You can come up for the paid part when I'm getting paid to not type. How's that sound? Yeah. Does that help? Does that help? Yeah. Do I have the input inside of an edit form at some point? I don't think so. It's in the home page. Do I have to put it in an edit form? Okay, bud. I'm gonna put you down. Okay. No, 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 not like that. I'm gonna put you on the floor. There you go. Go on. Go lay down. Good boy. Go lay down for now. They will play later. Huh? Really, Mojo? I'll be right back. I'm going to go and get a reward. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Hey, Brian, how's it going? Yeah, I had Loki on me. Loki was sat on my lap. Um, so do I need to put this in an edit form? Let's see. Does that work? Okay, let's have a see. Let's see what errors and fun it throws at me now. Um, do 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 do. I think he actually just wanted his sister off the bed. She went outside and he got a cookie and laid down. No more cookies, but not right now. Edit form requires either a model parameter or an edit context parameter. Please provide one of these. Edit context. What's context? That's going to require me to restart, but it's fine. Private edit context. I can but learn through failure. Well, thanks. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. Knees getting better bit by bit, day by day. Some setbacks here and there, but just fine. That's still building, so yeah. And I realize I'm just hacking stuff in to make it satisfied. And it still wants to use bind value even when in edit form. Okay. Well, I don't want to. Like we can have that. We can get this working. Input type equals text. Right. Let's see what else like. Yeah. I think so. One thing I want to kind of discuss today is like, I feel that this in general is good enough to put live. I'm not sure the API components would be the wisest choice to put live right this second. I think the API endpoint might be something I want to not expose. But I think the components. So we have it working. There you go. Angular. Blazor. So if I go and do that, remove that, update. Now refresh and type Blazor. It's telling the truth. Yeah. So the reason you don't the reason no one else has tags is because as much as I would love to be able to add the tags to these users, that would require a lot of SQL script that I don't want to write right this second. Because you guys are in there as test users, but you have real channels to link to, right? So, yeah. So anyway, what else? So if I do, yeah, it won't find me. Apply. Okay. So I think that's a good piece. We're not binding the search input there. So one line, thank you very much for the input here. My concern was by doing it the way that I had it at one point, the natural inclination would be to go and put that search input in place of the args, and then it wouldn't behave the same way. It's not very obvious that it's doing that. Whereas now that is not the case. It is only set here, and we are just triggering one event. We're not dealing with both. So I kind of like that end solution. So I'm going to call that for right now the basic search. I think that's good enough to find people. That is good enough to find by phrases, etc. and labels. So yes. And if anyone disagrees, you can always commit a PR to improve it. Search for search to search triggers now. On change or not on key down. No, it is on input rather than. So it's probably not quirky if I understood it more, but it is quirky for the purpose of my focus here. So let's get that. That's pushed. Oh, here's a question. Should we request Copilot? Let's request Copilot to review it. I'm going to merge this. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. This is the client side version of it, the API side of it. Right now, that's not implemented. I want to talk through that, like understand the whys and hows there. Let's create the PR, and then I'll go through the process of review. In general, right now, considering the way it is, I'm of the opinion that as long as it's working and it's functional, it moves it forward, right? There might be some things in there that need refinement. There might be some things that need cleaning up, but I could drive myself crazy trying to fix every single thing. This is not a project that I'm trying to do to make money off. I'm trying to do it purely to put it out there, make it a platform that is helpful to, you know, developers who are trying to stream and you want to share. You know, there's a lot of really cool developers out there that don't get any exposure. Because it's not easy to be sat at the bottom of the Twitch bucket, right? And yeah. I wonder which one of you would would be the first to join that. So yeah. So anyway, moving on. So this get streamers search term is implemented because I implemented iQuery, and on this, and it's not it's super easy. It's a default state. Morning trap. The client side behavior of this hasn't been implemented, right? None of this is implemented. So it needs, if I want to go through and understand when that would be required, when it wouldn't be required, because I have to implement it. I have to create two implementations, one for if it's running as a client and one if it's running as a WASM, as I understand it. And right now, all the code is running as kind of WASM, so it's server based. No, it's not WASM. It's server. Blazor server, not WASM. So right now, all of it's running inside of the server. So we get streamers search term. We pass that down all the time now, so even when it's empty, it's done. Apparently I formatted kit client. Oh yeah, I put the curly braces down there. This is probably my, I did create an editor config to try and make sure that if people are committing to the project, that the coding stays somewhat familiar. Yeah. So it just formatted them for me because obviously I was bad in the first place and put them up on there by my own standard. We're passing a default string to empty into this client now. Again, formatting, that's fine. Search term, we always pass in the search term into the query and pass the search term down to the spec. So this doesn't change very much, right? This is just go and get the active streamers with details with the search term, right? We pass that responsibility down into the query. And then if we've not got, if we've got a search term, we go ahead and compare tags, channels, and blurb. I'll be right back. I think I think Taylor just stole something to go chew. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I heard something and she'd pulled, she'd pulled a piece of wood, complete with nails, off something. So I had to go run and chase her. Bran, thank you very much for stopping by if you're still here. Have a great rest of your day. Okay. So we have initialize, we have a get streamers, state has changed. So it triggers when we filter on the streamer cards. Pass the search term again in the interface, and then the actual search itself, which I think right now, I'm going to leave it in the homepage. Later on, we can talk about laying that out. I think it's moving the project forward is more important than worrying about the design down to the perfect way right now. So yeah, so I'm going to merge that. Yeah. And delete that branch so we don't have fluff sat around. Okay, and that closes search. Nice. Okay. So let's pull development, check out, update. So not the most ideal thing to be doing, right? I'm just going to merge things and review things myself. Ultimately, though, I don't want to be. If I'm going to make this a community project, then I don't want to be doing every single change anyway. So it will work. Okay, so let's delete that branch. And there we go. Ooh. So if you haven't seen Developers.stream before, it is laid out somewhat in a complicated manner. I don't think so. There's the back end. The back end has a few pieces. These are little libraries just to keep the organization down. These could actually go under folders in here, I believe, but it does keep them all separate. It does keep them distinct, and I kind of like that way. Whether they're folders or projects, we actually had a chat last night about this, and one line, I don't know if you saw, the person who posted the video regarding the review of the auth thing originally, I posted back and said, I'm interested to know why people recommend using folders under one project rather than multiple projects. I always worry about that, and I said it at the time, it's easy to include a reference. It's easier to include the reference. And actually, if you are using folder structure and you enter something, some of the tools will just automatically add the usings for you because it's in the same directory structure. It's in that assembly, so it won't care. And I think you can introduce some kind of quirky behavior where you have one thing referencing another, especially if you try to name things in a similar way. And now in here, these are named very distinctly, so I don't think it would be a risk, but it is something that is I'd be interested to know other people's opinions on that. The domain contains just the entities that we store. The application has our queries and commands, etc. The API is the API. Right now, it uses minimal API. Zons has been here a few times, and it's kind of become a joke because Zons last time said really minimal APIs, and then left. And I was like, if you want to challenge it, let's have a talk. So why minimal APIs? So if I was doing this my normal way, I'd have introduced fast endpoints quickly, because I don't like minimal APIs. For this purpose, it's not bad. It's not doing a lot, right? It's getting a list of streamers, and it's also providing the endpoint for the linking of the account. Dog. I'm gonna give her another minute, and then I'm gonna have to go get her. But it's not doing a lot, so there's not a lot of stuff to worry about. If this becomes messier, you see how there's all these things up here. There's all sorts of organizational stuff here that could be done. I'm not going to do it right now, and I've done a little bit with the database. Right, I've done the database there, but that's it, right? Add database. This is the sort of stuff that I want to leave exposed right this second, because I think it's more important for someone coming to the project to be able to see it at a glance rather than worry about where it's all hidden. Because I've learned over the years that people don't automatically go and read through this. They're just kind of expecting it all to be in one place, and that challenges them. So we'll revisit that later, but I don't want to do that now. And I'm always open to opinions. And it's similarly, as we add more endpoints potentially, we can have a conversation about what that looks like. But feel free to contribute any feedback there. So we have that done. I have the task of figuring out how to deploy this. Right. So there's, as far as I understand it, if I'm deploying the website, I'm going to deploy the web, right? I'm not sure how web deploys here with web and web client, but I'm going to deploy the web. I need the API, and then ultimately the streamer API. Right now it has a filter on it for the API key, so you have to provide the API key, otherwise it will return 403. We did get that working, so we can at least validate that you are who you say you are. Or did we get a 403? I can't remember, but either way. I'll be right back once more. I have a dog to go and get. I do apologize. Silence makes me think you've suddenly had a brain fart. Yeah. I apologize. Is there no music on that on the BRB screen? Did I forget to put music on the BRB? I do apologize. I should put something on there. Oh, before I left. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. The problem with being this way. Okay, there was music. When the dogs get like this, when they get that, normally they lay down and they actually curl up together for the entire 2 hour stream, and I'm able to focus. But if they start getting up and they're moving around and stuff, I can't, I can't focus, and it leaves me, yeah, discombobulated. So, um, uh, and Taylor's outside and won't come back in. So, and it, um, I don't know what others are, but things like dogs barking and babies crying stress me. I feel I have to do something, and Taylor goes outside and barks at everything, so I have to run and get her. Now she's coming back in, but she'll beat me to the door if I go and get it. So come lay down. Come lay down. Yeah, lay down now. They're all upset because their pool cover got taken away, and now the pool's there. Baby's barking and dog's crying. Yeah, yeah. I think I was in an upside down world if that was something. Go lay down. Go lay down. No, you don't get rewards now. When you come in when I tell you, that's when you get rewarded. Okay, so I've got to decide how to deliver this. He's a strong, independent, sassy dog. So I was looking, and Azure App Services would be a way, but that would be about, for the lowest level, the lowest tier Azure is $11 a month for app service. No, I have not logged my breakfast this morning yet. I need to do that. It keeps making me want porridge, by the way. Like, oatmeal. Honey Nut Cheerios. Yes. Milk. Yes. Wow, our exciting milk. And black coffee. There you go. I should remind people randomly in Discord. Yeah, it's nice and easy. It is easy. That's for certain. I need to go look through the feature requests and stuff. Did you I don't know, did you investigate other like APIs for integrations and stuff on platforms? I know you were mentioning yesterday, like what was it that kind of it made sense, the weight stuff. So the first thing I actually did when I looked in was like, how do I tell it what my weight is? Because or maybe it's because I looked at it and yeah, because it says weight pounds, right? And it's like I know what that's actually tracking now, but yeah, it took me a second to like so. But learning that it's health information, therefore you have to get approval or whatever. They're a bit more tricky on that. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, I'm not trying to get into a feature set there. Forgetful programmer, hello, how are you doing? Yeah, I didn't want to divert there. I know you've got a full feature list there, but if you haven't checked out, maybe maybe he has released this week his fitness app called Barely Fit. It's a tracker to help you keep yourself accountable, and it is a really nice app, genuinely really nice app, and I would highly recommend checking it out. It is free. There are subscription options, but it is free to do all the stuff. And yeah, go check out his stream as well. He streams development of it several times a week, and I would highly recommend going following him. Everybody starts very soon. I just need some headspace to understand the implications. Yeah, I get that. Feature development is hard, right? Getting an app up and running is one thing. Developing the features and also measuring requests against the vision has got to be hard, especially now it's live. That's oftentimes, I think, where products fail, is they assume that they will not get customers if they don't adhere to what customers are asking for, regardless of whether it is actually in the nature of the application, in the vision for the application. You got to balance that. I've got a lot of ideas, but I'm more inclined to follow people's suggestions first because that's people tell me what they want. Right. But yeah. There's a that's a common phrase, right, Sally? And hello, by the way. Welcome in. Okay, so we have added search to Developers.stream. For those that are new to the stream, Developers.stream is a piece of software I work on Mondays and Fridays on stream. This is intended to be a platform to help with discoverability for developers who stream. The goal is that, or the intent is that as a streamer who is a developer, you would log into this site and set up your details. So you set up your name and some information about you, some blurb about yourself, and then kind of tag what sort of stuff you work on, and then link the streams that you are the platforms you are streaming on. So here I have Twitch and YouTube linked. So if I go here and look at me, I have Twitch and YouTube linked, right? So people would be able to navigate to those streams right now. We've just introduced the search here. So now it will search for keywords and awesome, amazing, right? Stream, right? Yeah. And the entire purpose of it is to try and help with discoverability of streamers. And if you choose to stream on YouTube, which is, if you want to stream to YouTube, YouTube has a higher bitrate and a higher resolution supported. So you can have a little bit more there. But the discoverability and the chat features on YouTube are not stunning. I do multi-stream to YouTube and to Twitch, which is a possibility as well. But so discoverability is tough on YouTube because they haven't made it their platform. It's part of building community and loyalty, right? People want to be listened to. Yes, yeah, that is true. Maybe, but like I said, the balance is an interesting one, and I hope that with Liquid Sky, when I get it to that point, that I can hold true to that myself. Because it's one of the things I criticize the most about companies. Yeah. I saw a good image that highlighted this years ago when a guy holding out his mobile phone saying, "I want a bigger antenna." That's not what you needed. You wanted a better signal. True. Yeah. Twitch, YouTube, Kick, TikTok, Instagram Live, LinkedIn. Twitch, that seems more sensible than YouTube. Yeah, there's definitely more trolls that pass through on YouTube. I like that you can rewind YouTube streams and set them up 1.2 or 1.5 to catch up. Yeah, yeah. So on the topic of the other platforms, by the way, what I wanted to do with this is kind of lay down some structure to begin with. Kick is there, but Kick's API doesn't work. So I've stubbed out all the right pieces to include Kick as a platform you can stream to, if you're one of those 5 people. But it doesn't work. So I've kind of laid down the pattern of introducing new platforms. And that was one of my intentions with it. So if you feel that you can get LinkedIn auth working, make PR for LinkedIn. If you feel you can get TikTok or Instagram or whatever, those are possible as long as they have that pattern there. Probably because they couldn't scrape Twitch's API and had to build their own. Well, the actual problem is, I can go to Kick, I can register an application just the same way as I do on YouTube, on Twitch, on YouTube. I need to go through that process. However, I cannot auth because id.kick.tv or id.kick.com, whatever URL they give you, isn't there. There's no page. It's just a 404. So when it goes to auth, following their instructions, it's like, nope, not there. So yeah, that is that. Okay. Actually, on that topic, we need to add some documentation. So and when I do documentation, when I do comments or anything like that, I generally try to ask other people to work with that, to go through that process. Purely because I think that documentation is best done. That's your sole contribution to the stream today. Appreciate it. Probably because they can, the page isn't there because they haven't built it and scrape it from Twitch. Quite probable. And that dog is driving me crazy. But anyway, documentation is not necessarily a contribution. Like, it should be. I feel this sort of stuff definitely needs to be reviewed by somebody else, and it definitely should be followed by somebody else, and their input provided. Like the things that they find confusing, the things that they don't quite understand. I could put a turn of phrase into a piece of documentation, and someone doesn't quite get it, and it kind of derails the entire flow of what you're doing. And it's funny when, in terms of documentation, when we're looking at dog, I'm going to go and put you in the pool. She's outside barking at the neighbors. Oh. I still think we have a responsibility to provide initial documentation. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I don't want to do any documentation. That is not what I'm saying. I feel that you do have to document what you do. What I think is that you need to quickly turn around and have somebody else go through that documentation to make sure that it is correct, that it does that, and everybody who goes through it, if they have feedback, if they have problems with it, work on that clarification. It should be an evolving document. It's the same, like, I don't put comments in code because it's a moment in time with my perspective on what the code does. So if I need to add a comment in code, if I'm working with other people, then I will ask. I will verify, is there another way of writing this code that means it is not as confusing and it has all the right context, or do we need to add a comment because there is no way of actually writing this at this point in time in a way? So I always think you should verify, is all I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't have a responsibility to write the documentation. And what I'm doing right now is I was about to go through the YouTube piece. But I was just sharing that I feel that you shouldn't write documentation without having somebody else looking at it. Yeah. In with the takes again. Hi Zons. How you doing? So yeah. Comments are awesome. Yeah. Minimal APIs are great. Wow. I'm that bad a developer? I should only write documentation? Ah, okay. Yeah, I returned the previous statement. I'm that bad a developer. I need to feed it to the LLM. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let's try. Let's see what Claude AI. I have these instructions for adding an account for auth with Twitch. Oh, could you do me a favor and make the same instructions with YouTube? I know, could you do me a favor? It's completely unnecessary. Again, I'm not against using AI. I believe that it is correct. In a lot of places, yeah. Use Copilot. I'm paying for Claude right now. Okay. So I'm gonna have to do something. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to go through it on stream. I'm going to drag the window over at the right points. I'm probably going to leak the secret I have, because YouTube's console, I know from, and this is one warning I'm going to put in here. If you're doing this on stream, like, don't share your screen. Yeah, I had some fun with a VO last week. Created a video of, I asked it to create a video of someone using an AI to create a video using someone to create a video with AI, and it didn't understand it made me a person start talking about it. I think the ChatGPT plugin can generate documentation. Yeah, I just like going to Claude. In the browser I don't have much fun with. Yeah. Maximal APIs, even more comments. That's my ideal code base. Okay, so I think this is correct based upon what I've gone through so far. So that's awesome. That's just saved us some time. But I'm going to go through it, right? Go to console.cloud.google.com. Open link. Yeah, I'm going to drag it over here and I'll drag it back at the relevant points. Create a new project or select an existing one, right? So I have a project for Developers.stream, right? Project.number. Navigate to APIs and services and credentials. There you go. Developers.stream link. That's there. So because I've done this, I should see all the things it's telling me to do, right? If prompted, configure the OAuth consent screen first. Choose external user type, unless you have a workspace. Fill in required fields. Add your domain to authorized domains if deploying to production. That's one of the things I'm going to have to do afterwards. Save and continue. Now, if you're doing this from your own personal development, right? Like, I know that Developers.stream is going to be a site that I build. So for most people, this is going to be a reference. You still are going to have to do this if you want to go in and test it and do those things. And so you don't necessarily need to go through all these steps. Maybe we make it so it can be turned off so it doesn't crash the app when it starts up. That's probably a better design. So, but you could still take some of these pieces and use these pieces in what you do. So it's still a useful process to go through. Backing credentials, type web application, whatever you like, and then authorized redirect URIs. Okay, so now, will it hide it off screen? Yes, it will. Nice. Okay. So it actually hides it off the screen. That's hilarious. It doesn't scale it and put it below it. It hides it. That's awesome. So add sign in Google. We had issues with this initially. I think it is actually sign in OIDC we ended up with. So that's a challenge. I don't know if we need that one. We need link account and profile. So it got all that correct. There's our authorized JavaScript origin. That's fine. Click create, enable the YouTube data API, go to APIs and services, enabled APIs and services, and search for YouTube data library. YouTube data API v3. Click on it and click enable. So I've got it enabled. Save your credentials, manage user secrets, copy the client ID and secret from the Google Cloud Console. So by the way, that screen that I just showed, the reason this is narrow is because my secret was displayed to the right-hand side. You should now get a YouTube button appear on register and login screens. The Google Auth flow will handle YouTube authentication since YouTube uses Google accounts. Make sure your application requests the appropriate YouTube scopes when configuring the authentication middleware. For production deployment, update the authorized redirect URIs to match your production domain. Yeah. No one else is doing production deployment with this particular app, so I'm not going to worry about production deployment. But that did a really good job. That is almost 100% correct. So we're going to steal it.
Sounds like you're discussing the YouTube.
What? Really, phone? I mentioned the G word one too many times apparently, and my phone decided to try and help in. Okay, I do have a philosophical opinion because I'm a startup founder and we pretend to talk about future. But from a first principles perspective, if you see Stack Overflow, traffic is back to 2010 levels. Content generation has gone down, but I know using AI is easier, but isn't it shooting ourselves in the foot in a few years? All this trained on data labor by devs for years. Now they are not incentivized to do it, which means less data, and it's a downward cycle. Yeah, I think we've discussed this a lot. So if you're not aware, one line streams on Fridays. Well, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, but Fridays is community day normally on one line stream. For all those that don't know, we have talked about that a lot during that, and yeah, AI is definitely an open topic on there. I've said that before, where I think we're feeding it back into itself. Is it not going to become troublesome? Yeah, but markets will correct over time. So what does that mean for AI trained on data that is producing its own output? What does that phrase mean in that term? So let's steal this. I mean, download as markdown. Um, there we go. Okay. fact, most LLMs are trained on fabricated data from other LLMs. It's more complicated than people realize. Oh, yeah, you are. Where did I just put that? Just lost the file I just downloaded. You'd think I know how to use these computer things by now, wouldn't you? Open with. One Napalm. How's it going? When the market realizes the need for correction, better trained data, or developer curated content, then it will come. Okay. I'm more complicated than people realize. I'm less complicated than people realize. I'm confused. Also, take coding LLMs. You can have Lang X to Y training, which offsets to some degree a lack of training data on Y. Huh. Yeah. Okay, so let's put. Getting to the point of wiki versus readme, aren't we? Let's put this here for now. Let's remove that. And I do believe it is sign in OIDC, not sign in Google that we needed. I probably should have corrected that, but I will correct it in this doc. Sign in. Sign in. That's why I use technique for improving model responses, because the synthetic data is based on real data. I'd be lying if I pretended I understood a lot of what we do there. Create Twitch application, create YouTube, Google application. Go to console, sign in with your Google account, create a new project. So this does bring up the one point, right? I'm assuming you have a Twitch account, right? The likelihood is if you are on this thing, if you're looking at this thing, you are a Twitch user. Likelihood, high likelihood. So if you want to check it out and run it, and this is only, if you want to run. Need Twitch and YouTube accounts. I'm sorry. It just still looks wrong after all these years. This is an area that trap is definitely somewhere I would defer all my questions. Okay, so let's do this. So why does that one? That's interesting. So interesting. Editor and preview. Oh, there is a preview window there. Okay. What does it do when I do? Close it proper. Okay. Just doesn't like that. Why don't you like it? Yeah, doesn't really matter, but it is cleaner, so let's do it. Twitch. I know why. Because it is. No, it would be right. JSON Twitch is correct to do it this way. I'm not gonna read out the the LM education pieces. I think it's worth having just in the chat back and forth. Yeah. Make this consistent. There you go. So we are adding more value to this. We've validated this step. I do want to, I still think this is signing OIDC. I'm trying to figure out where I do that part. Server, query service, profile service. Here we go. It's here. Oh, I know. I remember why. Profile, no. One of these things, does it fetch YouTube's registration link? Of YouTube read-only. So we're only asking for read-only state, right? Where do we put this back in? I can't remember where we put this back in. This is annoying me. Link account goes back because it uses the code flow. YouTube. Stranholm, good morning. Hope you are well. Good, good. I'm just trying to validate this endpoint. I know that we had issues with this, and I think it's actually part of YouTube's problem. I think because if memory serves, it actually doesn't. It doesn't go to credentials. It doesn't go to signing Google. It goes to signing OIDC. So I'm going to make that correction on that doc. OIDC. It doesn't hurt to have both. I just don't want to put that. I'll tell you what, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to put both in. Google may have switched to use this sign. And if anyone validates that, issues, create labels, documentation, enhancement. Uh, this debate, or rather, any debates about AI, LLMs, etc., all seem to uh, I don't think we ever get to, the most of us, I don't think we ever get to a true understanding of what it's going to be. We just have to see what comes next and understand. I think there's experts in the field, and I believe Trap is in a field that is using this. Um, I think we just have to try and pay attention to what's happening and how it's changing. I don't think there's anything we can do. I do believe that we do need to continue to be developers. I think we should not just rely upon the tools to do what I think, like this, the documentation, that would have taken me 30, 40 minutes to write, and it was easily validated after the fact. So that's a time saving. That's where I see this sort of tooling being very useful. I still think we will be creating things. um, I use the tools to to uh, to chat through ideas with. I do. I feed it, some questions and opinions, and then I tell it I don't agree with that. I don't want to do this. I don't like this. And I've gone through that, and I have started to try and build some videos out on topics that I've used uh the LLM to kind of validate my opinions, or not validate my opinions, enhance. Uh, um, so I think basically, um, we just need to keep an eye on it, and I think we should still continue to be focusing our efforts on development rather than and using it for the time savings it provides versus um, um, anything else. So um, um, programming language. um, the whole generate code, which isn't exactly what they intended, and documenting that wrong code. So now it is arguably a worse situation than no dots. Yeah, I can imagine that. I think everything we do, we have to validate. I don't like the idea of it running off and writing code. I don't like the idea of saying, "Oh, go and solve this entire thing." That's still something I'm not. Um, it's friendly combo. Oh, I know. I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm not reading everything out because I think it's a worthwhile conversation to have, and I love this sorts of conversation. Um, um, I think it's very useful to have. Um, and yeah. I found using AI from workflows, not coding on my behalf. Yeah, and I kind of I'm trying to find what works for me without going all in on it. I want to, again, validating it. I asked it to write the documentation based off what I had, and it did a pretty good job. It nailed it for the most part. Um, but you've got to keep an eye on it. You can't just let it go, and that's the thing we still have to be capable of. So I think we should still be writing code. I don't think we should be using tools. Um, yeah. Uh, we're all in with MS, so we're using Copilot integrations. Having access to my emails and Teams allows me to easily reply or notify me of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a little worried about it having access to everything, like not just deliberately feeding it data. Having visibility and access to everything kind of I'm a little bit more nervous of. Okay. Verify Google auth Google authentication. Docs say to use to include sign in Google, and that is the Google Docs do say the same thing as Google, but when I did it, it complained about OIDC. So here, what I'm looking to do is have someone independently verify it without me having to go through and try and break things and change things around. Include sign in Google. Is one of the callback endpoints. But when to configure it, it actually required sign in OIDC. This needs verifying and a README. Needs this. So I'm going to put that in there. Type. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Does this allow you to add new issue types? I don't think it does it? No. It's either bug, feature, or task. So I suppose it's a task then, not a whatever. It's not a good first issue because you have to go and actually go through that point. Yeah. To fine-tune LLMs, we are a research team. We write and publish papers. We aren't doing foundational model development. We have people from that space. Yes. Hoping all these online convos about AI won't steal our jobs will highlight. Yeah, I've started to get to the point where when stuff comes up in my feed, like my YouTube feed or whatever, and on like shorts and whatnot, that I sorry, I kind of skip on it because I'm just going to keep developing. I'm going to keep writing code and doing things the way I do them. And if my job becomes the surplus to requirements because people don't like it, people believe that AI can do what I do, I'll worry about it then. But I'm not changing being a developer. I enjoy this part. Well, I don't enjoy this part. This part I don't. I definitely don't like. Okay, so we're going to save that. I'm going to push the documentation update. I'm going to push it directly to development. There's no point. YouTube documentation in README because that helps move that along. Hopefully that helps. If you want to run the project, you're going to need .NET 9, Docker, Twitch, and YouTube accounts. Create Twitch, create YouTube. Yeah. Minimum APIs. So, I know you're having some fun there. The minimal APIs. There's a few endpoints here. The purpose of that is that there is no need to introduce extra libraries, extra things that people have to learn about, and do that now. That can always come as a part of a later discussion, and I would encourage that if you have opinions on those things. Time to go. Interview in 5 minutes. So, Dev. have a great rest of your day. If I don't see you, well, see you around. I'm sure I will. Thank you for coming hanging out. Have a good one. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can. So what's next for Developers.stream? Right. I don't want to just do random. I don't want to just do a stream of like, what am I going to do today? I think there's a layout problem. I think it doesn't look very good. Actually, I should have started that back up again. It would be nice to get away from that default looking Blazor theme. That's all this job is, just filling time with work until my next meeting. um, um, AI will become self-aware due to a type coercion error in the dynamic language. Mark my words. No, I appreciate the active chat on this. I apologize if I missed things in there. Being that I wasn't actively engaged in the conversation, I didn't feel it necessary to read out some of that stuff. So it's easier for me to to focus that way. Okay, so yeah, I think on Monday what we'll tackle is a bit of layout. I'd be interested if anyone has any idea of how screenshots are captured from streams. What sort of tooling would we put in place? Now, I do know that the other site, which I'm not going to go to very much, the streamers.dev one, their code, they have an entire Trello board full of issues and stuff that they're working through. And I took a glance at it, but then I'm like, no, I don't want to reference that because I'm not trying to copy what someone else does. I'm trying to build this and share this code as our code, not looking at someone else's stuff and trying to poach ideas. I want to solve some problems. I want to share that problem solving. That's part of why I stream, right? I don't do I don't do any preparation. The preparation, what's that? I never prepare for a stream. I get an idea, and sometimes right before the stream, sometimes the day before or whatever, and I try to go through that process to share the again the ups and downs, successes and failures, dumb moments, and it is exactly why I have that emote from a very early part of this stream. I'm not a big go off and read. I like to tinker. I like to do. I like to play and see the. I'm definitely a. Ooh, what is this? Why I do? What happens if I remove this piece? Sort of person. So, yeah. So things like, are streamers live? Screenshots, things like that would help people. Oh, this person's actually streaming now. I can go and watch them. Or this person, looks like they do cool stuff. How would we tackle that? What, providing screenshots in there. Is that something we can do? Is that something we should just remove for now and come back around to later? Do we need to have background services running, etc., to go and monitor things? Do we need a bot essentially in line to receive those notifications? Yeah, it's going to be there's a lot more that can be done with this. But I think from a basic standpoint, if we get the layout looking a little better, get that tightened up on Monday, it will look much cleaner. This style, whether it's developers/stream, is actually Ancient Coder created a logo for me the first time I did this round. I don't know if it's actually still there. No, I never. But that kind of style came straight away. So, yeah. But hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, this gets replaced. with a more dynamic version, and yeah, not AI related. But I'm playing around with the aggregate functions with Elasticsearch, and I'm pretty impressed with what they can do with it. Just average GPAs, filtering out edge cases, so cool. Called out sick today. That's not good. Look at that. Yeah. Um, yeah. So anyway, it's 9:02. Oh dear. I should get on with stuff, right? So it's Friday. Friday is right now, being that he seems to stream consistently, which is awesome. Uh, for the wrong reasons. We're gonna go raid Frank. Um, don't forget, it is Friday. Oh, I shouted him out already. I've got 32 minutes to wait. One Line streams on Fridays. Highly recommend checking out his streams Community Day on Fridays. Highly recommend it if you like having a chat. If you want to go in Discord and do voice chat, you're more than welcome to do that. We keep on topics of technology, a lot of AI talk. What can it do for us? How can we use things, etc. Um, I can use that time. We shout out Dukesoft. I haven't followed Dukesoft yet. Dukesoft doesn't stream very frequently, but when he does, he streams video footage of his local area, drone footage, and it's very relaxing and a very good place to go and hang out. So I would highly recommend catching a Dukesoft stream. Um, but anyway, we're gonna go with Frank. Frank Bashir, or F Bashiros, is a .NET developer. Streams Azure stuff, builds a few apps on stream, and again, it's just a fantastic place to go and hang out. So I would highly recommend going, hanging around and watching Frank. I will be back on Monday. We're going to clean this layout up. I'm going to do some research over the weekend. I said I don't research, but I do need to deploy this, and I don't want to do all that on stream because cloud deployment is not something I'm good at. And we'll get there. So thank you all for joining me. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday, hopefully. Take care, all. Bye. The end.